Hi, Aunt Summer here, and since it's Halloween and in the spirit of my very favorite things, today we're going to learn how to paint creepy trees. I love creepy trees. They are my favorite thing to do, and I paint them on my daily practices. Now, this is one that I painted myself, and I'm going to show you how to use your paints to paint a creepy tree for yourself. So, what you're going to need is a half a sheet of paper, watercolor paper preferably, tape, your watercolors, your brushes. You're going to need a cup of water or two, your preference, and a blow dryer. So go ahead, go get your materials, and let's go to our workplace and let's make some creepy trees. Okay, go get your things now. All right, it is October. I love October because it's all things creepy, all things weird, and I love it. So this, like I said before, this is something that I painted in my own practice, okay? It's a creepy tree, or that's at least what I like to call them. So I'm going to show you how to use your paints to get this result, okay? We will be using this part of the tray to mix some paints today, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put this to the side for my reference. Now let's go ahead and get our tape, and what we're going to do is we're going to do like we did before, but this time we're going to tape all four sides. So here, 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 and here, okay? And we are going to use a little bit of our tape. Remember how last time I told you, you just kind of like take it and stick it to you so it doesn't really wreck your paper. So let's go ahead and get a zoom in on this right quick. Too much. All right, so we're just gonna do this little fine edge right here, just like we did last time, okay? So just a little bit of tape at the edge. That's all we want. We're gonna do that all the way around, okay? Let's go ahead and tape it here. All right. If you need, you can pause the video and go and take your time in taping it. That's if you need to. And once again, at any time during this video, please take your time. And if you need to pause for a break or you need to rewind so I can go over something again, go ahead and do so. I'll be here waiting when you get back. You're not going to miss out on anything, I promise. All right, so oops, give me 1 second. Do a little bit of an adjustment. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to rearrange my workspace a little bit. I kind of made it a little too tight, and by that I mean too much stuff sitting on top of each other. So it's a little hard for me to work here. So it's the other thing too, just make your workspace as comfortable as possible. All right. Get my extra rags here that I may or may not need. You can use paper towels. I prefer rags because you can just wash them and use them again. So ask your grown-ups if they got any extra old rags or old t-shirt or something that you can use, and then that way you can just make them here. All right, let's start with a flat brush. All right, so with some clean water, go ahead and dip our flat brush into our water, and we are going to invisibly paint the entire paper. So go ahead, like we did last time, we only invisibly painted the space that we needed for our planet, but this time we're going to paint the whole page. And see how it's shiny? It's so shiny. So we know we got water all over this page by how shiny it is. But we don't want too much water, so like last time, just kind of dip it in and wring out the extra water on the sides, okay? And then just kind of up and down. And maybe some side-to-side action. All right, now that that's done, let's go ahead and have a look here at our paint selection. For this one, for the one that I did, I used like this peach-like color here at first. And like I was telling you before, with all watercolors, it's all about layers. So I went from like this peach color to like this color here. Let me show you. So I started with like this peach, and then I moved to this, and then this, and then this. And then kind of started working on the darker palettes as I got towards the bottom. So let's go ahead and select this peach color first. So with the same brush, dip it in a little bit of water. Remember, just a little bit of drips. Put it in that water pan. We want to, can you see that there? We want to make it like that muddy look to it. Okay. All right, excellent. So I'm trying this new lighting, and if it's too much, let me know and I will not use it again. I was just kind of experimenting here. All right, so let's use this peach and just back and forth at the top until the peach runs out. So just start and move down until it runs out. All right, that ran out fast. All right, I don't think I like this light. Let's try something else. Alrighty. That's a little bit better. Let me try another thing. Okay. Let's see there. That's a little bit better. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into that peach some more and just kind of brush that on there all the way down. Okie dokie. So now let's dip into our water and then wring our brush out. So dip into our water, wring our brush out a little bit, and then let's select this color right here, this taupe color. So let's dig in that, make it muddy. See, making it muddy. And we're going to just kind of put that on there as well. So take that down and then move it up into the peach. So you want to go up and then bring it back down. So a nice blend. Do you see how that blends really nice? I love it. So just kind of blend up, blend down. All right. So that's looking awesome. So I'm gonna go with this darkish color here, okay? Because I wanna start working from the bottom and I wanna work my way up. So let's get this burgundy color, and look how dark. It's like a burgundy wine color. I love it. And just kind of work its way up, but gentle. Gently just hold your brush and just kind of, you don't need to press down. You don't need to put that much energy or thought into it. Just kind of brush it in, brush it down. Now rinse out your brush all the way. All right. Now, after you rinse your brush out all the way, you're going to go ahead and get all that excess water off, because you see where it looks like it has a line right here? We're going to go over that line like that, just with the water, and we're going to work it all the way up. And then bring it all the way back down. Alrighty. So this is where we get to have some fun, okay? We are going to use our blow dryer to move this around. So I'm gonna take my blow dryer, let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna take my blow dryer, and instead of going up and down like this, we're gonna angle it. Watch. Angle it and I just blow on it. All right, so I want you to pause and take a couple minutes and just blow dry your paper, and then we'll come back. Okay, so our paper should be almost dry, mostly damp. Okay. So we're gonna go, and you see how our color is starting to look a lot better. So we're gonna go with this flat brush one more time, and we're gonna do the same thing all over again with the same color. So let me grab my palette, dip in a little bit of water, go back to my peachy color. All right, kind of dig in there and get some of that peach. Okay, and we're gonna swoop that across the top. Swoop, 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 and bring it down as far as it'll go. Back and forth, nice and even. Cool. So that was nice. Dip our brush again. We're gonna go back to the burgundy color, And we're gonna go from the bottom to the top. So let's start at the bottom and then just work it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just kind of take it all the way up until it runs out. And then bring it back down just to kind of smooth it all over. Woo, check that. Nice. That's called a gradient. So we got a nice gradient going on here. All right, so let's add a little bit of depth to this, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take like this rusty color here. This is where we're gonna mix. Take this rusty color, get my brush all saturated and filled up. You see that? My brush, hang on, zoom in here, guy. Woo, there we go. See, my brush is all saturated. So I'm gonna kind of dip him right there, you see? All of that came off right there. Now I'm gonna go over here to my burgundy. I'm gonna do the same, rub that in there and kind of just drip it into this pan. See, I made a new color. Check that out. What? Okay, so now I'm gonna just kind of tap in there to pull that color into my brush, and I'm just gonna brush it. I'm just kind of back and forth. You see this back and forth motion I'm doing? Just this back and forth motion. You're gonna get little splatters and things, and that's okay because it's gonna add texture to your painting. So let's go ahead and pick whatever's left and put it on. This is where our blow dryer comes into play one more time. Now before we blow dry, we're gonna take our brush, rinse it out. Okay, rinse it out, and then just squeeze some of that water out, and we're going to gently, very gently, just kind of brush it across the top like this and work it up real slow like that. Okay, now you'll see, let me zoom in a little bit here. You'll see that that paint is starting to move up. This is where we take our blow dryer on low, on the low setting, and once again we're going to angle it like this, and we're just going to gently blow and stop, blow and stop. And then I'm going to zoom in to show you what it's doing. You see where it's moving this paint around. Blow and stop. Awesome. So now to get rid of some of these lines here, we're just going to dip into some water. Okay, with our flat brush, we're going to dip into some water. We're going to go ahead and squeeze some of that water out and just brush over. And then, hang on, let me zoom out. And then just move my brush up and move my brush down. All right, yes, I'm going to brush over the spots that we just did, and here's why. Because I'm going to get a little bit more, I'm going to mix a little bit more of that color I like. So the burgundy, grab a bunch of that, put that in there. And then get this rust color, put that in there. We're going to make that burgundy rust color that we like. One more time. Alrighty. And we're going to go ahead and put that down here. And I'm just going like this. I'm just basically, I'm depositing the color here at the bottom. Oops. I'm just kind of putting it at the bottom. Okay. Nice and thick here at the bottom, because we're going to use our magic blow dryer and blow dry it. And then we stop. And we blow dry it. And we stop. Now, you see these two pools that happened here? Now we're going to go from the top with the blow dryer. So blow dry it from the top. And now from the side, and the top. Now from the top, just kind of wiggle it around. And check that, as it dries, it gets lighter, and it kind of gives us, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, it gives us this really cool illusion that there's trees in the background. So that's what we're kind of going for, right? We want to go for this really cool background illusion. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use my flat brush one last time. well, not last time, one more time. So I'm just gonna use the straight, like maroon color and put it down here. You just kind of go back and forth a little bit. Dip it into the water, squeeze some of that water out, and I'm just gonna put just the water on it. Okay. And just kind of make whatever shape that I want. Dab it a little bit if you want to. Whatever, just whatever kind of shapes. And then I'm gonna rinse it out completely and squeeze out all the water, and then just gently go over those edges to soften them out. Okay, and then just kind of keep going up my paper until I don't have any streaks anymore. And the magic blow dryer comes in. Blow dry it from the side, from the top, from the side, from the side. Alrighty, cool. That looks awesome. Now let's pause, take some time, and then just take your blow dryer straight up and down like this and dry it until it's completely dry, all right? Because we are killing it, crushing it, making these creepy trees. Well, actually the background for the creepy trees, but we killing it. All right, take your time. Let's blow dry this out, and then we'll come back and we'll start working here in our foreground to create some land and some depth. All right, cool. Okay, welcome back. So it took me about 3 minutes to completely dry this, so I can put my hands on it and it's completely dry. There are some ridges here, just because that's where the, you know, the paper buckles, and that happens, and that's okay. So now we're gonna focus on right here on this foreground part. So let me make a really quick adjustment to my camera so we can zoom in and really get the detail on this, because I don't want you to miss out, because this is my favorite part, and this is the part that really makes that creepy tree. Okay, so let me zoom in on that. So we have this beautiful background that we created, which, by the way, super proud of you for doing that, because while it looks easy in a painting, it's actually kind of difficult. So if you are having difficulties with it, which is fine, it took me a long time to figure out how to properly do that on my own. That's okay. Take your time, practice again, pause it, do it again. But it doesn't matter, because if you ever look in nature, everything in nature is very unique. It's very different, and you know, you don't really, nothing looks the same and nothing looks perfect. And that's the cool part about why I love creating art, is because my art is never perfect. I make a lot of mistakes until I get to where I want to be. So the fact that you even gotten this far, I'm super proud of you for that. You should be proud of yourself too. Like I said, it took me a long time by myself to, one, figure out it's okay to make mistakes, and two, to figure it out. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of our round brushes, okay? The mop brushes that we talked about. So actually, I'm gonna use my bigger one. So I'm gonna use the biggest mop brush that I have, okay? Use the biggest one that you have, because we want to cover a bunch of surface here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my palette, and I'm gonna go down towards the darker end, the darker spectrum, because that's where I'm gonna start building all this up. I'm gonna use this weird color here. It's like a, you see it? You should have it too. It's like this weird taupey brown color. Like, it's not quite brown, but it's not quite gray. So I wanna use that one. So I'm gonna dip into my water and get my brush really wet and make that into like that wet, muddy mess we always talk about, that we want it to look like, especially when it's with these cake, these are what these are called. They're called cake watercolors, or pan watercolors, especially with these pancakes. Ha! Pancakes! So we want that to look like that mud, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, let's kind of make like a weird shape, kind of like a mountain or whatever. Just make a squiggle. And now fill in that squiggle with that color. Whatever's left on your brush, just fill in that squiggle. Now take your brush to the side and lightly and gently just to kind of brush it like this. So we're just gonna go and we're gonna follow the line with our brush because we're trying to, you see how it's making that sharp ridge here? So let me zoom in on that a little bit. See how it's making that sharp ridge right here? That's our goal. Our goal is to get that sharp ridge to make it look like our land. So we're gonna go ahead and dip in water. So we're gonna dip in our water, going to release some of that water out of our brush, and we're just gonna kind of go over lightly. So like you were brushing a baby's skin. Okay, that sounded creepy. Like you were putting on makeup? I don't know. Anyway, just gentle. Just be gentle. So gentle, and now we're gonna tap it in because we were trying to give what's called texture, okay? So with that being all wet, don't dry it now. Let's go ahead and get some, rinse out our brush, leave some of the water in it. We're gonna go for that darker brown, okay? That darker brown right here. And now we're just gonna go ahead and tap it in. Basically, we're gonna make polka dots. See how I'm making polka dots? Like that. Grab some of our paint, make some more polka dots. Concentrate on those corners. And this is why. Because that is where, if you were to take a photo, that's where it's gonna be the darkest in the photo. Just kind of think about this as if you were to take a picture and where the focus in your picture would be. All right, so we got kind of like those little dots going. Cool. All right, it's blow dryer time. Super low. All right, here, let me zoom out a little bit. Super low, and keep this bad boy at an angle. Okay, so see, that's an exaggerated angle, but keep it at an angle like this, and let me show you what it looks like. On low and kind of hold it back. So I don't know if you can see how far away I am, but I'm a good distance. Okay, now you see like that happen? Cool, that's why we have our little handy dandy rags and stuff around, because we just wipe off the edges here to keep that from happening. So let's do that again. And see, that's moving up there, and that's okay because it's on our tape and it's not getting on our painting. So that's really the only concern I would have. I wouldn't want it to get on my painting. I don't care if it gets on my tape. Okay, so we do that a couple of times. It's not completely dry though, okay? You see, it's still kind of shiny and wet. So with that being said, grab our brush again, rinse it, squeeze out the water using the side of that cup. And now we're just gonna go over the top. Doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of go over it a little bit. There we go. That's it. Boom, we're killing it. All right, so get a little bit more water, squeeze it out of our brush. Now we're gonna take the edge of it and just kind of go over gently, go over, gently, go over. Ta-da! All right, let's get that ugly taupey brown color. It's not ugly, it's just not my favorite. And just let's fill in the spots here. See where it kind of, that pink shines through, which is fine. We'll grab some of that. We'll dab that in there. So let's just kind of keep it in this little space right here. Let's keep our brown right in this space here. And then we'll grab our dark brown and we'll kind of dab it in there. Alrighty. Use the side of the brush if you want to cover a larger space. All right, so now let's use our blow dryer on low, but on the side one last time. From the top maybe. On the side. Oops. Okay, see that just happened? Grab our rag and you wipe it off. And then you're like, oh no, it's summer. It's just a travesty. It's okay. We just grab a little brush, some clean water, okay? And then just kind of dab at it, blend it in. Dab at it and blend it in. All right, so you dab at it and then you grab your rag and then you dab at it. Now, since that looks like a piece of a tree, check this out. I'm just gonna use my dark color here. I'm gonna use my tiny little brush. So I'm gonna show you how to fix a mistake right quick. Use my tiny little brush, rinse it out, grab some of this dark color here, and just kind of, you see this edge here? You see this edge here? We're just gonna follow the edge of the, we're gonna follow the edge of the tape up just a little bit and pull it off to the side, and then just with the tip and pull it off to the side, and then just kind of maybe do a couple branches. Boom, we got a tree hanging out over there we didn't even know about. So let's blow dry it. Okay, take a few minutes, dry this up, and then we're gonna move to the next step. Okay, mine took about, I don't know, a couple minutes to dry. We're good to go. I'm digging my happy accident over here. It looks so cool. It's adding something extra that I didn't even think would be possible. So kudos to us for making a cool mistake. All right, so we're gonna use our small round brush again. Okay, so this time we're gonna go for that gray color. So let's dip in the water and let's make that gray a little muddy. Now we're also gonna mix this. Okay, by the way, this pan comes off and I like to take it off so when I mix colors. So what I'm gonna do, let me see, zoom, oops, sorry, wrong way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this gray here, I'm gonna put it in a pan. Oops, it's not wet enough. So put a little bit more water into that pan. All right, I'm gonna take that gray, I'm gonna put it over here because I'm blending. I'm gonna take that dark brown that we used. I'm gonna blend that. Okay, a little bit more gray, not quite the color I want. All right, so now we're gonna outline, we're gonna take our brush on the side. Let me zoom in here. Let me take the brush, using the side of our brush, and we're just gonna use this corner here. So just kind of like, don't make like a solid line, just kind of like wiggle your brush a little bit as you do it. And then grab some more of that paint, go over it again, maybe wiggle the brush a little bit. Check you out, you are killing it. Add some more in here. Oh, this is so awesome. Now take the rest of our paint and kind of fill that in. All right, so grab some gray, fill that in here. Doo-doo-doo. Awesome, grab some of that brown, maybe fill it in. Go up close to that edge again, kind of push it up. Oh, so cool. All right, now it's going to lighten up as it dries. So to make it a little bit darker, so when it dries, it makes us happy, or at least makes me happy. We're gonna grab some black, okay? And we're just gonna mix it in with it. So we're just gonna follow our line with the black, okay, like that. And then maybe some dots to make it look like some grass, like boop, boop, boop. You see what I'm doing there? I'm booping it to make grass. Boop, 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 boop. Cool. And just kind of boop it down in there. Grab some more of that black, boop it in the corner. Oop, it's drying out. Let's add some more water to it. And I'm just dabbing it. I am not brushing it, because if we brush it, we're gonna brush off all that work we just did. We don't wanna do that because we're super proud of that work. Cool! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because now we get to do creepy trees, and I'm gonna show you my secret behind creepy trees. But before we do creepy trees, we have to fully dry it. This, I know this one's like, you're like, Aunt Summer, this takes so much drying. I know, but it's layers, player. We've talked about this before. All right, grab your blow dryer. All right, make sure you have a nice amount of space, and let's go ahead, take about a minute, and we'll dry this up, and then we're gonna move on to making a creepy tree. All right, go. Woohoo, we're back and it's dry. Mine took me about, I don't know, 60 seconds or so to go ahead and dry. So let's zoom in a little bit and let's get to with the creepy trees. I forgot to tell you because I wanted to share my secret later on. So you might need to pause this video, but I make creepy trees with markers. That's right. I use Sharpies. I use regular Sharpies and I use these Sharpie pens. But if you have fine tip markers, or any kind of markers really will work. You can even use Crayola markers, which is awesome. But today I'm going to show you how I do it, and I want you to draw a creepy tree however you want. Okay, so go and get yourself some markers or some pens or whatever you're comfortable drawing on this with. Go ahead, pause the video. I'll wait. All right, welcome back from getting your markers. All right, so like I said before, I like to use Sharpies. So I have two Sharpie pens that are both in black, which they're like my favorite, even to write with. And then I have a dark brown Sharpie and a black Sharpie, regular size. But like I said, any marker would use. I prefer to do the base of my tree with the dark brown Sharpie, and then kind of move from there. Now, to get the idea of my creepy tree, I want to draw a shape that if I were to see this tree on the side of the road, or if I was walking in the woods, I would stop and be like, whoa, I need to take a picture of this because this thing just has personality and it's really cool. So to be able to get that, I like to make like S shapes a lot of times. So take your Sharpie or whatever marker you're using. Like I said, this works with any marker. Put it on its side and kind of just make like a wiggly S shape. I don't know how else to explain it. So so on our little foreground that we created with dark colors, pick a spot. I like to go with the center, kind of to the right. Let's go over here to the right to kind of match with that accidental tree that I made. So let's just kind of like make like that little wiggly S shape. All right, and that's it. Boom, tree done. Now we're done. Just kidding. So let's fatten up our tree. So at the bottom is where the tree is going to be the fattest. So I'm going to pick the middle and I'm going to take my Sharpie up and down. Okay. And I'm just going to try to draw over top of that shape and kind of just fill it in here at the bottom a little bit. And just kind of fatten up my tree just a little bit, but not too much, because then, you know, we're gonna have to fix it if we do that, which is fine. All right, so now I have a fat tree. This is where the smaller Sharpies come into play. Now, if you don't have a thin marker, like a thin Sharpie or a fine liner, a pen works just fine. You can use a regular old clicky pen, like this. This is just a regular old black, oh no, this is blue, so let's not use this one. But just a regular old pen like this will work too. And when I first started out, before I discovered Sharpies, I would use pens too. So now this is the fun part. So what you do is you just pick a spot and you just kind of flick. So pick a spot and you draw and flick. So you pick a spot and you just draw it a little bit, and when you're done, you just flick it off. Draw and flick, and then you can make these thick as you go too, right? So I wish I could, there we go. So like here at the base here, just maybe thicken it up a little bit, flick it out, follow it to the top, kind of finish out that tree like that. And that's all you do. And you do that with all of your markers. Whatever marker you're using, you just draw for a little bit and then flick off when you're done. And then kind of make it a little bit thicker towards the base of your tree. So draw and flick off. Like that. And that's all you do. You just kind of pick a spot, draw it a little bit, and go flick. Swish and flick. I don't know if you're into Harry Potter. I totally am. That's what they learned when they were in school. Swish and flick. And that's what I'm doing. Swish, flick. And then that's how you do it. And then if you want to add more, you just kind of go to I like to go to the smaller branches that I make and just bloop, make little flickies off of them like that. Kind of just give... And just kind of just think about what a tree looks like. We got little branches everywhere. Oop. And maybe thicken up that one a little bit. And they're always crooked and weird, right? Like, no tree has like anything straight. And occasionally they do, and that's fine too. Like that, and like come down here, maybe thicken this up a little bit. I didn't like how thin that looked. That's just a personal preference. So your tree is completely your personal preference. You can make zigzag ones like that one there. I just went up, up, up. Here, I'll make another zigzag one for you so you can watch. Oops. And sometimes the paint gets on there. All right, I will say the paint will rub off on your markers. So sometimes you're just gonna have to wipe your marker off. See, and then zigzag and flick. Like that, like. All right, so my creepy tree, I feel, is well done. So take your time, make your creepy tree however you like, do whatever it is that you want to do to it to make it as creep-tastic as possible. All right, so go ahead, pause the video, finish up your creepy tree, unless you're already finished, and then we're gonna move on to the final step. And then we're gonna do my most favorite thing, the most satisfying thing ever, peeling tape. All right, so go ahead, finish up your creepy tree, and I'll be right here waiting for you. Excellent, and welcome back from making your creepy tree. By the way, if I haven't told you, I am super proud of you. Pretty sure I have, but I just want to tell you, super proud. You're doing an excellent job. Creepy trees are not easy, but I have a feeling you're killing it. Okay, last step. Dark brown, or if you use a black marker, use black. Since I used a dark brown marker, I'm going to use this dark brown color. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to the bottom of my tree and I'm just going to dab it. I'm just going to dab. Just so my tree blends in. My tree blends in with what's going on. That's it. Like seriously, that's it. That's all you have to do. And if you use black, dab it with black. Okay, so your tree just blends in with everything. I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer right quick, and then we're gonna peel the tape. Ooh, my favorite part. Okay, about 30 seconds or so to dry this up, and then we are pretty much done. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I hit it with the blow dryer. It's been about 30 seconds or so. It's completely dry, like I can touch it. No paint is coming off. Now we get to peel the tape. Now gently, just kind of pull the tape. Remember, pull it to the side at an angle so it does not rip our hard work that we just did. Oh yes, that's so satisfying. Oh, and look how our cool mistake tree kind of blends in with our creepy tree. Oh man, super awesome. See, mistakes can be cool too. That's basically what art is. It's just making a bunch of mistakes until it looks right. Okay, so let's just go ahead and peel this side off of here. Awesome. Okay, top or bottom, top or bottom, top or bottom, bottom. Okay. So let's go ahead and peel off that one. And let's peel off this one. Oh my gosh. This is so cool. It's so cool. And it's very similar to the one that I made not too long ago. Oh my gosh. Creepy trees are my favorite. I hope they become your favorite. I'm super excited to see your artwork and what it looks like when you're done. If you have any questions, just ask. If there's a couple parts where it's just not going your way, that's okay. Just take a deep breath and just realize nothing in nature is perfect. Okay. Nothing's symmetrical, nothing's perfect. That's the reason why I love this so much. Like, look at all these. None of this is all kind of like all over the place, but it looks so cool. And I'm proud of you. You did an excellent job, and you should give yourself a round of applause, pat on the back, whatever positive reinforcement, because you did an excellent job, because this is not easy. This is actually pretty advanced, and I have a feeling you did really well. Can't wait to see your pictures. All right, well, take care, and I'll see you around. Bye.